welcome to my reaction commentary video for The Boys Season 3, Episode 5. Let's get to it.
Seeing as it's my very first board meeting, I thought perhaps we'd start by going around the room and giving you all a chance to introduce yourselves.
And the VOT board decided it was time for a change. So, allow me to introduce you to the new head of crime analytics, the Deep.
Thank you. It's always been a big dream of mine to be able to fight crime, both at sea and on land. And if you work hard enough, there's nothing you can't achieve. Hashtag dream big. So to break the ice, we brought
Cupcakes.
cupcakes.
We open the episode with the shift in power. Now that Edgar is gone, Homelander has essentially taken charge. His assistant or PR chick, Ashley, technically has the role, but let's face it, Homelander is the obvious person that is in charge. He has a meeting to meet with everyone and discuss how things are going to work from now on, although he doesn't actually know how a company runs. So the moment someone mentions something statistical, or rather the office side of the business, he's not pleased. That does not interest him, even though that's what gives him his power. That's not what gives him his power, but you get the point. Being in charge of something. And we also have the Deep taking over crime analytics. I think this might be the same people who we saw where Black Noir went to them and wanted to get information about where the boys were since they were wanted. And there was this almond bar, some kind of nut bar, that he made the person working at the computer throw away since he's allergic to nuts. The Deep is now in charge of something. Homelander's now in charge of something. Shift of power. Mid-season kind of thing. This is clearly to raise the stakes. The other scene we see the boys. Huey's getting sick because that's a side effect of getting superpowers for 24 hours. It really F's with your body. Who knows what damage it could be doing that they can't see or feel. It's a TV show, so they could be perfectly fine after. A lot of times that's how that works. They hand wave it. The characters can keep getting powers temporarily and then be back to normal. I don't know where that's going to go. Right, and then with he's being a total dick. You would think he'd get some kind of satisfaction. There are tapes they've recovered from the facility where they found and released Soldier Boy at the end of the last episode. You would think he would be satisfied at least a little watching. Okay, no one should be satisfied watching someone get tortured no matter how bad they are. I just thought since he really hates Soldier Boy, since apparently Soldier Boy accidentally killed his family in the crossfire during some kind of mission, you'd think he'd get some kind of satisfaction out of watching him get tortured by these a-holes that captured him. Instead, he says, well, first of all, these people pronounce Kimiko's name weird. I don't know why they can't get it right. Says he doesn't care about Kimiko. He only cares about one thing. Whoa. It makes sense how him and Butcher and all of them could hang around together all this time. They're all gigantic jerks. Poor Huey. It is just not his crowd.
No thanks. I've been sober 4 months.
It's been a year for me.
You know, before you abandoned me for Butcher, you always wrung your hands. Oh, Nina, I cannot kill. It's like acid to my heart. Yet you always did. Pyotr Semyonov and his daughter Katerina, you do it today.
She's just a child.
It's never stopped you before.
Butcher really knows how to drag everyone down with him, doesn't he? I don't think I've seen anyone who wasn't worse off because of him. What a great protagonist, eh? First he gets her drinking again, even though she'd been sober. Then they bang. The bizarre part, besides the fact that he hates soups, it's that he is going on and on about how all the soups need to go. They need to die. They need to not exist anymore. The world will be better without people like her, blah, blah, blah. And that apparently flips her switch. She wants to do it. What the... What is wrong with her? I know the seven are all supposed to be unlikable, but sheesh. Self-hatred at its finest. I didn't think self-hatred could turn a person on, but there it is. And wow, these people are the absolute worst. We find out, I'm not sure if we knew any of this before. We find out that Frenchie was a hitman or killer for this mafia chick. The people he killed included children. Wow. I get that part of the boys getting together and everything was trying to change not only themselves but the world as best they could. They wanted to take out they wanted to try to change things. That's generally what they're all about. Meanwhile, we got Huey, who at least is being honest with his girlfriend. He told her everything and even admitted how good it felt to have that power. Everybody else, how is there only one likable character? Even Starlight, while sometimes she's likable, she does things that are just trouble. The second she brought in her old friend, he was dead. And she did say that he could be in danger, blah, blah. Yet she still involved him. Even that, I give it a pass. That's fine, whatever. I can't forget that guy she killed the previous season, though. Just yikes. Wonderful. So now Frenchie is going to have to kill people again for this mafia chick unless he can get out of it somehow. Kimiko's in the hospital. She was very seriously injured. If a soup physically hurts another soup, it actually does damage. But they were acting very surprised. And then if that's the case, then something has become different with Soldier Boy. And we'll find that out later.
And Bureau of Superhuman Affairs are calling it the work of an unknown supervillain. At this time, we're still waiting for more information.
Homelander, did you hear me?
Sorry? What?
I said, we need to handle this.
Book slots on all the Sunday shows. Tell them that there's nothing to worry about. Not a thing. We got everything under control.
That's smart. So smart. Don't you think that the best way to handle this is to find him?
I never thought of that. Obviously. Run along and save the day. Meanwhile, the grown-ups, well, we got to worry about the share price and the EBITDA margins. Okay?
I'm really starting to see why couldn't be a father and couldn't be a husband. He is so traumatized by what happened seemingly more recent time than in the past, but still, he's a terrible father because he just cannot get past what happened. Understandable to be really messed up, losing your entire family. I don't know the details, but it really doesn't matter. It'd be hard either way. Yet, it was a long time ago. He was very little, and it's a shame he couldn't move on. It's been so long. You'd at least hope his daughter would be that thing that could give his life importance and not dwell in the past. He is stuck there. I'm talking about being a bad father because on the news we see that, well, even before that, we get a scene where Soldier Boy has made it from Russia via plane. He's in New York for the first time in a long time. It's got to be decades since he was last in New York. And everything's very, very different. He gets upset when he hears a Russian voice. There's a song from the same country. He was held prisoner and tortured and experimented on for a long time. I don't know how long. He freaks out and explodes. He can't control it, it looks like, and killed a bunch of people. He is also traumatized. Maybe they'll find some common ground, or not. I can't see ever doing that. None of the boys in general seem to be able to take the higher ground or be the better man. They're all just traumatized F-ups. What's interesting is Homelander being in charge now. Homelander has given permission for Ashley to have the meeting. A-Train was, I don't remember if I mentioned this, but probably not. Okay, so in one of the episodes, or maybe even a couple of them, some people that A-Train knows back home, there's this one soup out there who's supposedly policing. It's a play on police brutality, essentially. He's too aggressive and too violent with black people. And he's a law enforcement type figure as a soup. And he gets a meeting with this guy because he ratted on supersonic. But now Homelander feels like he can trust him. He's in the inner circle, maybe, kind of. If there could ever be an inner circle with someone like Homelander who is very all about himself. At the meeting, he wants him to give a public apology. I don't know if they'll actually give us anything more with this storyline. That's what happened, though. Then we have Starlight, who wants to actively go and stop Soldier Boy, who they don't know it's Soldier Boy. It just seems to be a terrorist. A soup terrorist. Actually, Starlight would know, wouldn't she? Regardless, she wants to take action out in the field while he has now learned about all the crap he has to deal with as the leader. And so he's concerning himself with that kind of things like reports and public image and blah, blah, blah. Something I'm curious about, I don't really understand right now. Throughout the season, there's been moments where there's that ringing sound in the clip I showed with Homelander. And at first I thought it was meaning he was upset, kind of like a ready to blow sort of ringing. However, the use here doesn't really indicate that. So now I don't really get what it means. All the other times it was used, something was clearly had the potential to set him off. I suppose this might be. I'm not following. Maybe it's just the same use. And seeing a terrorist in New York has made him upset. And so the ringing begins again. Unclear. Let's continue.
Find them myself.
And what you gonna do when you find them? Eh? He's well out of your league, son.
You need help.
You need us.
It's a shame is just rage-fueled this season. He's hard to root for when it's just hate. He's such a likable one. He was one of the ones, like Huey, who I felt at least wasn't... I wouldn't classify Kimiko or Frenchie as all bad either. Just Frenchie was clearly into some shit. Kimiko had done so much bad shit. Butcher is self-explained. Was at least more in the middle, I feel like. But this season, just no. He's very angry. And he gets a storyline though, so that's something. It was nice when he held the team together, though, in a way. Well, so they come to the site. There's radiation. So the explosion he gives out, I guess I didn't understand. That might be some kind of side effect of radiation. Or rather, if that... Well, no. He has radiation. And what took him down temporarily was the bomb? Or something like that. So he's irradiated, and then when he uses his powers, it radiates the area and the people. So with Kimiko, it somehow... Oh, I didn't mention. In the hospital earlier, Kimiko woke up and realized she didn't heal, and she's weak. She has normal strength. She can't lift heavy things. And she is thrilled. She's a badass, so you kind of want her to get her powers back. But at the same time, I'd be really happy if she never did, because she would be really happy. We just gotta hope this doesn't have a further side effect where she gets sick. We know very little right now. But it would be nice if she could have a normal life. And they come to the site where Soldier Boy used his power, a big ball of light explosion kind of thing, and there's radiation around. I didn't really make the... I remember them mentioning radiation, and then it only really clicked with me that something must have been used on him. They said it was some kind of bomb or whatever. They used an atom bomb or some kind of special bomb. Either way, it had radiation. I think they're trying to say radiation of some kind affects soups. Unless it's just Soldier Boy's version. If it is radiation, though, that's something they could potentially use against soups in the future. Just speculation on my part.
Of the spine, lacerations to vertebrae T6, T7, T8, and T9. The damage is so severe that Nathan will never walk again.
The next few months will be especially to save innocent lives. You know, to think that my donation to this community would be met with such intolerance.
whiplash with that last scene. Got this really depressing scene with A-Train, and then go up a level and see how happy Frenchie and Kimiko are right now. Mood whiplash. The guy came to apologize, as he had to do. Assaulted a bunch of people on camera, unless the cameras had turned off at that point, but I don't think they did, so that's great. Although they're Vought's cameras, so I'm sure nobody saw what happened. And they spun it to be like, oh, look at these unreasonable black people in the community, right? Yeah, this guy is hardcore racist, not even a little subtle. I'm sure A-Train is not going to take this crap. He was already not the greatest person, and this is going to be his set-off, I'm sure. It's a little bit odd that Vought is all about cover-ups and bottom lines and all that, but you'd think they would get rid of this soup if he kept continuously causing problems. So it's odd that this guy's even around to be a problem and be racist and killing people. It's fine. I don't know. Seems strange, but it's fine. Maeve is gone for now. She was put into rehab by Black Noir. Yeah. Homelander was talking to her, and then Black Noir came up on her real quick, got her. It's nice to see him doing something. He could do a little more, be in it a little more, you'd think. Out of all the 7, he's definitely the one you see the least. They said it was a drug overdose that killed the one Homelander murdered. Everything, it really is a disaster, isn't it? The boys are definitely right that Soups, or at least Vought, needs to go. I know Vought are the people that created Soups initially, I think. They came up with Compound V. They are definitely the problem here. They're the ones making the Soups into what they are. They give them too much power and then cover up their messes and mistakes and crimes. We meet a guy who, he was on Stranger Things, actually. He played Owens, if you've seen that show. And he plays someone who was in charge of Vought a long time ago. He's drowning his sorrows or enjoying his retirement. Unclear. But he's very into drugs and alcohol and all that. He admits that Soldier Boy came to get his uniform and is looking for his girlfriend. But he said he was not happy about going to see his girlfriend. My first suspicion, since I already knew Soldier Boy had to be alive, was in the episode that took place in the past with the battle that got a bunch of the Soups killed or hurt. I wondered when she came and said, I saw Soldier Boy die or whatever. I was like, was she involved somehow, or somehow didn't help, or something? We'll see.
I held on to the hope that you would come, that you would save me, because I still loved you.
I didn't love you. I hated you. We all did.
Please, just go. Let us handle this. You can yell at me.
Alright, impromptu brief musical. Bizarre. First I was just WTF. In the end I liked it. Kimiko gets to really be happy and sunshiny in her head this season, which is pretty nice to see. Otherwise she's just so dour and not loving things. She ends up kissing Frenchie. However, the way Frenchie reacted makes you think maybe he saw her more as like a sister or best friend or something. He didn't react well. He just seemed confused and then kind of, and then walked out. Unless it was just filmed really strangely. As far as I could tell from the way it was filmed anyway. He didn't look, he didn't go with it. That was pretty much the mood whiplash I mentioned earlier. The scene continued from there, from what they were watching, this nice thing, and into the musical for a few minutes. Frenchie ends up getting taken, or he has to go with Mop Chick. The red uniform chick, Crimson something, I think? She is doing, it looks like soup porn, it said, or something like that. It was a soup cam girl type thing. And, well, you get a cameo from Seth in it. And if I'm understanding it right, I'm right that she was either in on him getting captured, like she set it up or helped it happen for free, for nothing, because everybody hates him apparently at the time he was taken decades ago. or she saw it happening and just let it happen and then lied and said he was dead. Unsure. Either way, she's guilty. And we get another scene. I'm wondering where they're going with this, because earlier before Maeve was taken by Black Noir, we had a scene with her and Homelander, and he was essentially asking her, was it ever real? Did you ever love me? Because I loved you. She's like, nope. Made it up from the jump. And whether it's true or not, I'm inclined to believe her, since he's a scary dude when he wants to be, or in general, just because of how strong he is. So I could see her feeling pressured into doing it, or maybe, just like with Starlight now, it could be how it happened, but by Vaught's machinations, more likely in that case. Either way, point being, she's like, I faked it the whole time. I hate you. I hated you always. And then we get this Crimson chick and Soldier Boy, and Soldier Boy essentially says the same thing. I loved you. I spent all that time being tortured, all those years, counting on you coming to get me one day. And she's just, I hated you. We all hated you. And that's it. Like, what is up with these cruel chicks? What is going on? There's definitely a parallel going on, and I'm not sure the reason. Maybe Homelander and Soldier Boy will find common ground because of a woman. I have no idea. Huey ends up using Compound V again for no real reason, since he doesn't end up needing it, unless it continues into the next episode, I suppose. But by episode end, he really didn't need it. And all it did was make Starlight disappointed in him. He didn't even tell her about what they were going to be doing. called to bring her in as backup. However, I thought the three of them were on the same plan, Butcher, and Huey. Apparently not. Huey and Butcher were planning to make a deal with the guy, Soldier Boy, to kill Homelander, while I guess, just thought they were going to help him murder the guy? I don't know why he would think that. Huey isn't a murderer, no matter how much he tries to man up, so to speak. It's not manly to murder anyone, but the show seems to definitely have a perspective on that. In a bad way. It knows it's a bad thing, at least. It's aware. It's self-aware. That's important. Now he and Starlight are, again, pretty shaky. He thinks he can just be honest and that's all good. Yet she tells him, you don't need to change for me. You don't need to save me. I just need you to be here. I just need you to be around, alive and with me. He thinks he needs to prove himself or change for her, and that's a no-no. Not sure where that relationship's gonna go. So Crimson Chick is dead. Another boom, as you saw. I'm guessing this is a new power caused from the radiation somehow. I don't know. Sure. We didn't really see enough of him before for me to have any real clue what's going on. But judging by the radiation, yes, this is all new. So he blows up the house and the chick, because she's a bitch. And the episode ends with Butcher drugged MM's drink, because of course he did, so that he wouldn't protest when they made the deal with Soldier Boy. Just, I just found everybody's just the absolute worst in the show. I'm used to it by now, but I could see a lot of people giving this show a skip, because it's just so nihilistic almost. Sure, there's bits of people with hope, but for the most part, it just feels grim. Everyone's an a-hole to everyone who's also an a-hole. Okay, I'm giving this a 10. Again, the fact that we're on episode 5 and I'm giving it another 10, they've all been 10s, it made me pause and go, is it really a 10? Am I being too kind? I reason it's a first watch, and that is my first watch impression. These are all 10s. I enjoyed every single episode. Not every single thing in it, but that's not going to make me lower a rating. I'm always ready for that next episode, which is really important, because there have been plenty of shows where I just didn't care, or I had no interest in what was going on, didn't care for the next episode, I had to force myself to watch. Not so with this season so far. That's very awesome. I'm really enjoying it. Characters are having interesting arcs, scenes look good. There's a lot of how is this going to go mystery in there. You just don't know what's going to happen next. It's not predictable. It's predictable in the ways it should be predictable, like Homelander would eventually snap and not allow things to continue as they were for the past year. Of course not. Yes, a 10. Thank you for watching, and remember to stay entertained.